Now, never one to miss an opportunity to virtue signal, Meghan Markle has demanded all men, like her feminist husband Harry, rail against the US Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. In a politically charged interview with Vogue magazine released today, the Duchess lashed out at the bombshell ruling that permits individual states to ban abortion. She said men need to be vocal in this moment and beyond because these are decisions that affect relationships, families and communities at large. They may target women, but the consequences impact all of us. My husband and I talked about that a lot over the last few days. He is a feminist too. His reaction last week was guttural, like mine. Hinting at her long-suspected presidential ambitions, a seething Meg also revealed she's willing to go to Washington, D.C. to join protests against the landmark ruling. So, a fiery reaction from the Sussex clan, but it raises an important question. Adam Brooks, should men have more of a say when it comes to abortion?
I'm not sure more of a say, but we should have an opinion. You know, people with partners, daughters, or whatever, you know, this is going to affect men as well. But we've got to remember that this happens to women and their bodies. So we can have an opinion, but I don't believe we should have a say. I'm someone for freedom of speech, freedom of choice.
Bodily autonomy?
Bodily autonomy. I've used that word a few times in the past. But look, at the end of the day, I hate the thought of abortions. I've had 3 babies myself. The thought of it makes me physically sick. But this is a last...
Can I just say, you've had them yourself. That's an amazing...
exactly, yeah. But
Can I say, you really got your figure back.
Thank you. Right, but this is the last sort of... It's the last option for many women.
Right.
And in certain situations...
Last resort.
It's the last resort. And to take that choice away, for me, is wrong. Yeah. You know, and I know it's a very contentious subject. And again, I love babies. I'm pro-life and such. But women have every right to have say over what goes on in their bodies. Okay. And I'm a strong advocate of that.
However, Amanda Platel, you could argue that the DNA of the unborn child is shared 50-50 by the man and the woman.
It's not a thought that's ever occupied my mind, quite frankly, Mark.
But it's a reality that occupies
Yeah, it may be. Can I say something now? OK, I desperately wanted to have children but couldn't. And so abortion for me is a very tricky subject because every time I hear of, and with friends I've gone with them to have abortions, which I completely supported because I knew that that was what they needed to have for their life. But for me, it was like a heartbreak. An abortion for me is like a heartbreak. But that is only because I couldn't have children. And I totally respect. First of all, I think that if you're in a good relationship, the man should be involved in the decision.
Right.
Ultimately, it should be, if you can support each other, it should be down to the, ultimately to the woman to decide, but a joint decision. If you're a woman on your own, then it should be her decision, even though it pains me personally to think of any child. And partly because of my own personal experience, I would very much endorse that the legal limit for abortions should be reduced to about the 20-week period, because I think once you see a little leg there, we shouldn't be aborting them.
But maybe, human being.
And pardon me for being so personal on your show, Mark, but for me that's a really, really important thing.
So you wouldn't seek a change in the law that made abortions more difficult to get?
No, because it just makes them more illegal and it makes them more dangerous. And women shouldn't be subjected to that. And the women that I know that have had abortions, they don't do it easily. It's not like they're going out for a vodka and tonic. It's a heart-rending thing for them.
For sure. Ashley, what do you think about this? Do men, do they deserve an opinion on this?
By the way, I have to say I respect everyone's opinion on abortion, and I understand it's an incredibly emotive and triggering topic. The news that happened this week, I very rarely get very upset about the news. This did make me very, very upset because the state should never have a say over female productive rights. And there are many, many reasons why women seek abortion. By the way, all of that is personal to a woman, so it shouldn't matter her whys and her ifs. But in many cases, it is to save her life if she has, for example, a septic uterus. It could be that if you miscarry, which I have experience of, and your body doesn't pass the fetus, then you have to, or you should be able to have an abortion to rid your body of that, which can also save your life or save you from having infection. There are cases of rape, incest. But also, there's a trend, you can Google it, called stealthing, where a woman has sexual intercourse with a man and thinks he's wearing a condom, but he secretly takes the condom off. It happens. There are so many reasons. And we have to allow a woman to have the right over her own decision. And the thing is, if people care so much about life, why are there school shootings? Because they care more about guns. And also, how do we reduce abortion? Education, sex education, access to contraception, and especially in America, they don't want that. And I think what it does is it is basically control over a woman. They don't want women to have a say over their bodies. And even though it's very far away, it feels like it could happen here. Just yesterday, the Tory MP Danny Kruger saying that he doesn't believe that women should have bodily autonomy. In 2019, there was a vote about decriminalising abortion in Northern Ireland, and 99 of our MPs voted against it, including Dominic Raab. There's currently an increase in protesters outside UK abortion clinics. Can you imagine the trauma? Nobody knows why a woman is getting an abortion. And the trauma of going through that and having protesters have whatever opinion you want about abortion, based on morals, based on religion. I don't care, but do not have the audacity to tell a woman what to do, because also nobody cares once the child is here. We're not seeing, especially in America, there's no universal health care, there's no universal childcare, there's no paid leave, there's no access to mental resources, there's no increase in wages. And I'm sorry, you're not pro-life if the moment the child is here, you say things like, if you didn't want to have a baby, don't get pregnant. And there's so many reasons why contraceptions can fail, and it is nobody's right to say what a woman does with her uterus apart from her. And as Amanda said, it's not going to stop abortions, it's just going to stop safe ones.
OK, fascinating conversation. Lots of heartfelt opinions there. What do you think, Dan, at gbnews.uk?